Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 37 of SmiteTalk. My name is Octane Pro, and joining me, as always, I do have FG3000. How's it going, buddy?
What's going on, brother? Another beautiful weekend. We missed you. We missed you last weekend. I missed myself too.
I know. We had a lot going on there last weekend. I'm trying to remember what was going on last weekend. Why couldn't we do? Oh, because last
Something
weekend.
went long or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. What happened last weekend was with SPL actually. It was running super
SPL.
late. Yeah.
Last week of SPL, yep.
So with SPL, it was running super late, and so we only had a little bit of time, and then we were gonna do Smite update, but that was starting like an hour late, and then that would have pushed Smite Talk back like an hour even more. So it wasn't working for you. So it would have worked for me, but it wouldn't work for you. So it was actually your fault.
Hey,
So
don't put me
we
in
actually,
in front of everybody.
so we actually missed you. You know.
I'll take it.
That's right. That's right. Well, folks, welcome to Smite Talk. Smite Talk is a different show out there that goes ahead and kind of mixes a few different worlds. And what we have is a show that is very similar to like a radio show where myself and FG3000 go ahead and talk about a variety of different topics. And you guys can call in and talk about those topics with us. You can bring up new topics. You can ask questions. As long as it has to do with Smite, this is the place to be tonight. And without further ado, let's go ahead and kind of jump into it a little bit here. FG, what have you been up to this week?
Double worshippers, man. I tried my best to get Cabraken Diamond, but you know what? I don't like to grind gods. I just found out. Like I just didn't have fun. I played like maybe 15 games and I was like, this is not fun anymore. I want to play somebody else. So I didn't really take full advantage of the diamond or the double worshippers that the way I thought I would. Then I started playing Thanatos and I started playing Sylvanas, and I was just all over the place. So nothing really accomplished at all. But I did get my 200 gems. And after we get done with this, I'm gonna get my next 100. And I'm not gonna spend them on anything because nothing I want.
You got to save up, huh?
Gotta save up for the next Odyssey item, which looks like it's gonna be Scylla or something. Looks Scylla related.
Yeah. It's interesting because you have a good point there. Like when you're trying to grind out gods, like Smite to me is not one of those games that makes it easy or even enjoyable to grind. Like I'm gonna play this god, and this is the only god I'm gonna play until I can get them to mastery to get my diamond or whatever. Like, especially if you're playing a god that is more like a support or a guardian type of god, it's not fun. For sure. You know, like ADC.
Don't even let me get started on supporting.
ADC jungle, ADC jungle, not too bad. Well, you know, I mean, a little more action, stuff like that. But, it's painful. It's painful to say the least. But it's always enjoyable with a little more damage dealing. It's good. Anything else going on this week for you with Smite?
That's about it, man. It was a pretty quiet week for Smite.
Okay.
Not a lot happened, right? We just had Zong and
yeah. I mean,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, we got some cool changes this past week with the patch. Some adjustments to hunters, some cool skins that came out. Some skins that came out. We could talk about them throughout the show a little bit more too. For me, I got to play a little bit of Smite here and there throughout the week. Me and a bunch of buddies actually joined a private WoW server. And we are.
What?
Well, here's the reason. Stipulation. We are
God.
only playing because I'm going to a LAN in 2 weeks, and we're gonna do a 10-man Kara run for old time's sake. So it's the Burning Crusade. You join the server. You're level 70. You have all the gear. I'm not sitting around grinding levels or anything like that. So I've been playing a little bit of that and a little bit of Smite. And after I went into WoW, I was like, yeah, this is why I play Smite, because I can't stand this grind. I was like, this is unbelievable. I was like, this is why I play Smite. But outside of that, yeah, things have been going well for me. Things, looking on the up and up, and been watching a decent amount of the wild cards going on and getting ready for the regional championship coming up here in the next few weeks with EU and
creeping
NA.
on up, man.
It is.
I felt like just yesterday I was sitting at a table with you while you were drinking milk, and F Dot and me were actually drinking real beverages.
That was in March. That was in March. Thank you very much.
Felt like yesterday.
I just want to kick you. Anyways, moving on from there. If you guys are interested, if you guys want to call in, go ahead and go download Raid Call. And look at you, other way, but it's okay. It is that way. Over there, down
Nice.
there. Raid Call ID is directly below me there. So download Raid Call, raidcall.com, and then go ahead and put in that group ID 7461039, and you'll kind of be put in like a queue. And I'll shoot you a message, make sure your audio is all set up, you're good to go, and then I'll put you on deck. and then we'll bring you in and we'll talk Smite. So feel free to. You could ask questions, talk about anything. Anything you guys want. It should be a lot of fun. Once again, if you guys want to email the show, we'll be going through emails this week as well. If you don't have the option to, call in, email us, SmiteTalk@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Any of your comments or questions about, what we talk about. Even if you guys watch the VOD and then you guys want to email us for the following show, we'll definitely read it and jump on it a little bit there as well. So let's go ahead and kind of jump into it. So what is our first topic for this evening, Mr. FG?
Ooh, I love it. So every day on Smite Talk, we talk about gods. And we're starting to get to the point where it doesn't matter. I used to say that I wanted to talk about gods that weren't overpowered or underpowered. We're just going to talk about gods now. So the next god on our list is Mr. Cabraken. Mr. Cabraken. This is the guy that I was trying to get to Diamond, so he's fresh in my mind right now.
You brave soul. You brave soul.
Fresh on my mind. I like Cabraken. I know he's not overpowered. And that's kind of what I want to talk about right now. Yeah. A lot of people are saying that Cabraken is OP, and I just don't see it. The amount of games I played versus the amount of hard counters I encountered. I like that. Hard counters I encountered.
Yeah.
Cabraken, definitely not overpowered. But let's kind of talk about him for a second. So
sure.
When he's a guardian, right? So every guardian.
That's what they tell me. That's what they tell me.
That's what they tell you. For every guardian in this game to survive, you need some type of initiation, and Cabraken's initiation is basically his one. The issue with his one is, sure, it'll shrug off slows, and that's all cute and dandy, but he's still susceptible to knockbacks. So if there's an on-her in your face, you're not getting anywhere near anyone. If there's a Poseidon with a tidal wave, you're not going anywhere. You're basically screwed when it comes to his one, unless it's set up perfectly. You set it up with either maybe a sprint just to like shock them, pure shock value, or you use like a weakening and just hope that they miss. So I really don't think his initiation is very good, and his initiation is what I feel is his primary. There's another reason why he's not ever going to be a top tier guardian. He's not OP by any means.
No.
But one thing about his one that is fantastic is really good in laning. Being able to hog the archer minions in the back and then surprising them with the one early on is a really, really good way to lock down an ADC or a support when you combine that with his two, segue. So you run in with your one, you get that stun. I guarantee you the support and the ADC will start attacking you with Cabraken. That builds up his little passive meter. And once your passive meter is full with Cabraken, your two now becomes a stun. And I guarantee you will be able to get that ticked up in the laning phase. So you start off with your one, you get hit, you pop him with your two. That's two very, very easy, reliable stuns to lock down a support or an ADC. And typically your ADC is either going to be able to get a kill off of that or at least drive them with such low HP that they have to go back. So his 1 and 2 sound pretty good. His 3, on the other hand, Tremors. I don't know the name of it. I'm just going to call it Tremors.
You're right. Really? You're right. Yep.
Nailed it.
That's the only one. That's the only one you knew. But it's okay.
You got what is his first ability called? Don't look it up. Don't look it up. What's it called?
Off the top of my head, Seismic Crush.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, I am right.
So Tremors.
I don't recall. Tremors. His second one is something shield, but I don't recall the exact name.
Shield or something like
see, there you go. You're good.
Something like that.
You're
good. So let's talk about Tremors.
Go for it.
I am not a fan of any god in the game that has a stationary ability. I'm not. I really hope that Hi-Rez adds CC immunity to this ability.
I wish you could move with this one, all right? This one would be perfect.
Like move really slow, maybe?
Yeah.
Like forward?
That's right. I don't know. Just make it more functional. You know what I mean? Like
it's not very functional unless you do it late in the team fight when everyone's already used their abilities, right? Once everybody's used their stuns and everybody's used their knockbacks, and then you bring it down, that's the only time it's really useful.
Can everybody go ahead and use everything so that I can, actually use my Tremors and be effective? Yeah, that'd be great. They're great, guys.
Exactly.
Thanks.
But that move is subpar. It's good when it works perfectly.
Yep.
And let's go to his ultimate. His ultimate.
Oh man.
Is so terrible and so fun and I'm so conflicted. When you hit someone, when you trap someone in there perfectly and you bring your Tremors down and you stun them, it feels great. On the flip side, when you do your ultimate and you accidentally hit one of your rocks and you let the enemy go free, that sucks. When you do your ultimate and someone backflips out of it, that sucks.
Yep.
When you do your ultimate and they say, I'll just go this way, that sucks. His ultimate has
when they
many
walk
things.
through you and you're like, what just happened? Oh, jeez, yeah.
Exactly. His ultimate just has so many counters, and it's just like, and then it always feels like it's sometimes, well, not always, but it feels like it's
Yep.
short sometimes, where you do your ultimate and they're like, nope, I was on the other side. See ya. It could be a little bit longer.
That's when you facepalm. You're like, are you kidding me?
And then your team is like, really, dude? We could have caught him, but now
Yeah.
you just ruined it. You just saved him. You know, it's like
Ca-
your mirror wall all over again.
Cabraken's like the ugly stepchild, to be honest with you, of the Guardians.
Indeed. So this OP talk with Cabraken, I don't know where it came from.
Yeah, I agree.
He's definitely not OP. And I want to go on the record right here, live on Smite Talk, right now.
There you go.
I want to go on the record. There will never, in the history of Smite, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Ever. I don't care if Smite's out for 7 years, 6 years, whatever. In the history of Smite, there will never be a first pick, first ban, top tier character that has a stationary ability. I'm going on the record. There will never be.
All right.
There will never be a Hades type character, a Anubis type character, Cabraken type character that is first pick, first ban, top tier character in the game.
So when there is, we'll make a bet. You can give me your chair. We'll swap chairs then. How's that sound? Does that sound good?
You pay for shipping. You might as well buy your own then.
Deal. Yeah, I mean,
Cabraken's fun,
yeah.
but definitely not OP in my opinion.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I mean that was a pretty good rundown. You know, it's good that you went through those abilities and stuff like that. You know, without going into detail like you did on each ability. Cabraken overall is, to me, I mean, I love playing Guardians, and this is from a casual perspective, guys, for someone that's been playing the game, you know, since August 2012. I'm not a competitive player. I'm not Cret or any other theory crafter. You just like Pon or anyone like that who can break.
Me and Octane just do what feels good.
That's
you know?
right.
That's what we do.
That's right. So this is from that perspective. So take it with a grain of salt. But from my perspective, there's always a better choice than Cabraken. You know, when getting out there. I mean, you know, you got Geb out there, which is always a great option. Sylvanas now, great option. You know, Ymir. It's just Bacchus. There's just so many other better suited Guardians that their kits will lend more to it. And the big things that just bother me with Cabraken and that I love with other gods is the CC. Like Ymir, his kit with the CC is just amazing. Geb with his kit with the knock-up and his ultimate. Like, there's just so many things.
Fantastic.
Bacchus with the belly flop and the belch. I mean, there's so many things in those kits that make them. I mean, Sylvanas, he's got his root. He has his ultimate. I mean, he's got his like second ability, it does damage and heals, and then he got his third ability, the pullback. So like, all their kits are just amazing. And then I look at Cabraken's kit, and it's like, nah. I think it was a good idea. Like I like.
That was good on paper.
Yeah, exactly. It was a good on paper, and you know they made some changes to him, and people have said that this makes him more sustainable. You know, more sustainable now. It makes him more viable. But it's not somebody I'm going to pick. Like, as a Guardian player, I don't jump to him right away, which is a shame. Which is a real shame because I hate seeing a new god come out like this and then kind of dwindle. You know what I mean? Like, he came out, played
big
him.
Splash. He looked really cool.
Yeah.
Double shields, pretty awesome.
So for me, he would be somebody that I would love. I like his art. I like his model. You know, I just like the whole attitude of him. I think he would be a good god for an overhaul, which is a shame because he just came out. But
That's so funny.
let's rework him. Let's rework him and make him. You know, maybe they're looking to bring more Guardians into the game with less CC. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a lot of CC. He has a lot of CC.
Okay, he does,
with his...
but how does that lend versus the other Guardians? Not very well.
Yeah,
not very well. And that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's just not up to par. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
And I want to clarify, chat here. When I mean by stationary ult, I mean like Ymir. I sit here and I don't do anything. Not like a Circuit stationary ability. That's different. And either in Geb's ultimate is stationary for like a split section. A split second. I'm talking like Hades, channeled stationary. I'm standing here. I'm dead. That type of god will never be top tier, first pick, first ban. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. FG3000.
Yeah, I mean, you had some good points about him. You know, just kind of his kit and what it lends to it. You know, when you were going through it and what you experienced. You know, you said you've been playing him a decent amount recently, trying to go ahead.
I still like him though. I hate that I still like him. Now I know. Remember back in the days, like maybe 8 months ago, you would like queue up and you would see like a Hades player that had like, 10,000 kills,
Yep.
diamond. You're like, dude, why are you playing Hades? He's terrible. He's like, well, terrible. I know he had like the most wins of all gods,
Yep.
but you're like, why do you play so much Hades? And now I know. I finally found a god that I like. I know he's not very good, and I still want to play him. So I'm the scumbag. And diamond walls, man. I want to use my ultimate with big diamond rocks that
would be
are
cool.
not going to be any better than anything else.
That would be cool. Yeah. Oh, I agree. So Cabraken, what would you change about him? Like, what can we do to Cabraken to bring him up to par with some of the more likely picked gods that are out there? I mean, he doesn't have to be top tier, but
yeah. Yeah, I think you make a great point. He doesn't have to be top tier. So I really think that it'd be cool if his wall was higher. I know that sounds really strange, but it'd be really cool if his ultimate was higher and you couldn't jump over it. Think about that for a second. He'd be the only guy in the game that could actually lock down and on her. Like, oh, I can't jump over this. I'm screwed.
Yeah, I need beads for an ultimate for once. Yeah, how's that?
I would need to use blink or just go the other way around. It'd be similar, but I haven't really thought that through. So I know chat will. So there'll be a lot of nuances that probably don't fit with that. But in the realm of reality, I really think his 3 needs CC immunity. He needs to be CC immune during his 3. He's already stationary. It already doesn't do that much damage. It doesn't slow you. A lot of people don't realize that. It's not actually a slow. It pulls you in. It's not really a slow per se. So he needs CC immunity on that. Like I said, it's terrible damage. He's stationary. He needs CC immunity. And if if it was a wish list, I would have a little bit of CC immunity on his 1. And I know I hate to give out CC immunity like candy, but just being able to run, he's already running up to you. He's already plain as day in your face. Let him just run up to you a little bit. Come on, guys. Come on. He's easy to dodge. He's easy to kind of cut around with that ability, believe it or not. I've missed that thing so many times, and I'm not that terrible.
I think for me, I don't mind his kit. The only thing I would change in his kit, to be honest, is probably his ultimate. I think everything else in his kit could be more viable if his ultimate was quite different. Looking at other gods out there with their ultimates. Ymir kind of has his huge explosion, lots of damage, can pop it at any time.
Geb used to not be able to. Think about how bad that was.
Geb with it, Geb, his ultimate with the knock-up ability there. Sylvanas, same concept, very similar as well. Who else we got there? Ares, his ultimate pulls everyone into him, forcing you to use your beads. What are their guardians? Hades. Hades isn't really a guardian though, as you look at the classification. Who else is there? Bacchus. His drunk.
King Bacchus.
Oh my word! Like, come on now. I mean, that's ridiculous.
He's so good.
So
I still love Bacchus so much.
Going through naming a few of those, okay, and now we go ahead and look at what we have coming out of Cabraken. I throw up a curved wall and hope to isolate you with that little curved wall.
Curved wall. Like, I like that.
Like, oh my word. Wah, wah, wah.
I think it'd be kind of cool. I think it'd be really cool.
So,
a curved wall.
So, I mean, that's where his ultimate isn't anything special. And there are gods in Smite where their ultimate is not anything crazy, but it adds to their kit to be pretty cool. Like example, like Uller, Uller look at hell type of deal. But there's a huge functionality behind it. When I look at Cabraken, I don't know. His ultimate just doesn't anything special. Doesn't stand out to me.
Ripple in chat has a pretty interesting suggestion here. He says his ult should apply a cripple, and I want to take it a step further.
Okay.
If Cabraken is in his little area where his ult is, it's like a little ring, and if Cabraken's in there and he's channeling his 3, then it's a cripple. If he's in his ring of mountains and he's channeling his 3, then it becomes a cripple. Something like that. You know what I mean? It kind of makes sense with his kit because, his 2 is like, if he takes this much damage, then it's a stun. If you're in his mountain, then you're crippled. That kind of thing would make sense, I think. But, it has to be in his ult somewhere. His ult is just... when I play Cabraken, I really only care about my number 1 and number 2 ability, and occasionally my 3. My 4 is like, do I really have to use this?
Yep, and then sometimes it's a nuisance, and it's like, oh my word.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, look at his wall for his ultimate, and then look at it compared to Ymir's wall.
Yeah, it's the same exact purpose.
You can't destroy Ymir's wall.
Has damage on it. But...
Yeah, exactly. So like something different. I think that's where it needs to change. I'd like to see Cabraken played more. You know,
I will.
and
Don't worry. I got you.
yeah, you got it right. Yeah, just
Keep up
because
with
you want
me.
to master them, because you want to be the only person that's mastered them, because no
I
one else
know.
is
I
doing
think that's
it.
what it is. I
No one
think
else
that's
is
what it is
doing it.
secretly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to be the only. I know there's probably tons of Diamond Cabrakens that are probably going to chime in the chat, but I want to be that guy. X
That
Diamond.
guy. Okay.
Can't wait.
Okay. I like it.
Speaking of being lame, I'm also trying to diamond Thanatos so I can pretend
Oh.
I'm a hipster. When his big skin comes out, I can kind of pretend like, yo, I've always been diamond.
Yeah. Look at you.
What up?
Oh man.
Meanwhile, I'm only like ring 3.
Yeah. So those of you guys interested, feel free to go ahead and call us in. Download raidcall, just like Ventrilo or other ones like that. Go ahead and call in. The group ID is 746-1039. And go ahead and call in, and we'll bring you on the show, talk to you a little bit here. So any last comments on our man Cabraken before we go ahead and bring in our first caller?
The very last comment on Cabraken, Hi-Rez Chris, or anyone at Hi-Rez listening, Can I have his shields out all the time? I don't like his goofy walk when his shields aren't out. He looks so dumb. Just give me my shields all the time. Thank you. I'm done.
I like that one. Hi-Rez Chris,
I would actually consider that a buff. If that was in a patch, I'd be like, he got buffed. Buffed.
His shields are there. It's a visual buff. We'll take it.
Done
as
and
we
done.
can. Yeah, good deal. All right, well, let's bring in our first caller here. Welcome to SmiteTalk. How's it going? Hello.
Pretty good. How's it going yourself?
Good. So
Good.
what do you want to talk about today?
So in the wild card tournament, and I think we even saw it in the SPL once, Hunters in the solo world. Do you think that will become a new meta?
Okay.
Part of the meta.
Okay.
I personally would like to see it because I'm a solo laner myself.
Okay.
And like my favorite character is Apollo. So I would really like to be able to find a build that works with Apollo in the solo lane where he's not as squishy, yet he still does that damage that he needs to do to be effective, if that makes sense.
That's a good question. I'm going to go ahead and mute you. Your mic's got a lot of background noise while we discuss it. So I'm just going to mute you real quick here. So, FG, what are your thoughts there? Those of you guys not familiar, his caller's mic was a little meh. He was saying, what are our thoughts on Hunters being played in solo lane as per with the more recent competitive games that he was watching? So, FG, what are your thoughts on that perspective of having a Hunter in solo?
Fantastic. It should have been a thing.
Don't encourage it. You know what it was? It was a thing a long time ago when the lanes were the exact same size and there was 2 supports and 2 hunters. Not that again. Come on now. That's our Smite meta history. For those of you guys that are new, there was a day when the lanes were the same size and you had 2 supports in every game and you had 2 hunters in every game. Just saying. All right, go ahead. Old man Octane, you unbelievable.
So what I'm saying, so Hunter solo makes sense on so many levels. They're ultra safe. All hunters inherently are ultra safe. Even if you take AMC, which is, I know he doesn't have any escapes, he's still ultra safe because he just throws a hive near him. He throws his little swarm out and goes right back to the tower. So they're ultra safe. They can stay there. They can get really, really, really big and then come out and destroy people. And especially if you have an Apollo over there that can rotate with a global ult, you have a Shibalanka who's always relevant over there. Anytime there's an engage in the solo lane, he pops his ultimate, he's done. You know what I mean? You compare that to like a Ra over there. What is he doing for the other team while he's over there? He can't really do anything. He's over there in solo, he's just getting fat. Throw a Neath over there. She's relevant over there in the solo lane at all times, getting really big and then coming out and destroying later on. The problem with Hunter solo is the fact that there's also typically a Hunter in the long lane. And I think that's detrimental to the team once the game gets to like 30 minutes or so. You having 2 Hunters is not... and I think we've seen it today. I didn't watch the end of that game, so I apologize. When Proxy was playing Shibalanke solo, and then we had Sun Touch on Uller. I think they lost that game. I didn't watch the whole thing. I'm sorry. But they were having problems transitioning to that late game phase when it was time to really be in extended engagements, right? Your hunters get jumped on really, really fast and they're done. You don't need to have 2 liabilities on your team like that. So if you throw someone else over there, and this is old school, but just
old man FG, old man FG.
This is old school. You put someone in the long lane that is not a hunter, right? You need to back in the days, a long time ago, during Octane's reign of terror, there used to be Odin or Aphrodite, which is not good right now.
Odin Aphrodite? What are you talking about? That's not old school. Aphrodite's like newer. Like, come on now.
Odin Aphrodite in the long lane was old school. People
No,
don't do that anymore.
No. Old school is Odin Zeus.
Oh,
come on
yeah,
now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
That's super old school. But you put someone in the long lane that is not a hunter, like a Mercury. You can still put him over there. You can still put a Nisha over there. Someone that's not really like, you don't need 2 hunters on one team. That's the problem. That's my only issue with solo hunters. And if you do it in the casual queue, I guarantee you'll have 2 hunters, and it's just not going to work out if the game goes the distance. If you can finish the game off early, then fantastic. But that's my issue with it.
All right, my 2 cents. You ready? You ready for this?
3 cents.
3
Take
cents.
3.
Wow, 3 cents, man. Woo, pricey. So Hunter being in the solo lane is interesting because right now solo lane is a very diverse lane where we see a lot of teams being very creative with it. Playing gods that are non-traditional in the solo lane, to try to pull off a win or to and what happens is they actually shift the meta, not realizing it, and then you start to see casual players playing it, in their games. Oh, I saw, Zelia playing Ymir in solo lane, so I wanted to try it out, type of deal. The solo lane, you have to remember, is a lane that comes down to a lot of sustainability. That's what makes you, quite victorious. A lot of games you'll see high sustained gods being played in solo lane that, if played correctly, end up out leveling people quite a bit, and then they go forward to dominate as you approach like mid game a little bit. So when you talk about hunters, the hunters to me don't really have the survivability, but what I like about the caller's question about it and where we saw this previously was the fact that, like, look at a god like Apollo in solo lane. Okay, his kit lends to having a little bit of CC in there. He has good lane clear, and he can dive the solo tower when necessary for a kill or to steal it. You notice a lot of times in like the dual lane, Apollo will push the envelope a little bit farther than he really should be while a team fight's going on in mid, just to pick off that tower, and then he pops his ultimate to go ahead and escape.
So joins the fight. Yeah.
So in a solo lane composition, that does lend to it a little bit. A lot of the times if you look at like the way solo lane operates, they're not rotating completely across the map very often. They're staying in their lane, they're clearing their lane, they want to keep their XP up. So having a god like Apollo or something like that, which has that ability, is not a bad thing. It's pretty cool. It's a good idea. But same thing FG says is it kind of lends to being a little goofy when it comes down to having 2 hunters overall. So I don't know. I mean, maybe
Chalk hunter.
Chalk
long lane, Apollo short lane.
If you had a dual lane, if you had a dual lane that was made up with like a Freya and like a hyper aggressive lane, like a Freya and a melee or something like that, then maybe you could pull off the hunter. You know what I mean? Like maybe it could work. I feel like if you only had a single hunter in the game, then maybe you'd be okay. So just my 2 cents. Let's see.
There are plenty of warriors that can actually clear a lane in the long lane. You can put Wukong back over there. You can put Chalk over there as an ADC, and they will do just fine. And then you'll be better off when it becomes mid game. You have another tanky guy that can initiate fights.
Yeah. Let me go ahead. I'll unmute our caller here. So you're unmuted. Do you have any other? Yeah, you're good. Do you have any other questions or anything like that, or comments to what we said?
Yes, I do actually. Going back to talking about the Guardians and their CC.
Yeah, go for it.
Sylvanas. Before the nerf.
Yep.
Do you think we'll see another Guardian with that much CC? That level of CC?
Good question. I'll go ahead and mute you here again. All right, you're muted. FG, what do you think? The question was, guys, before Sylvanas' nerf here, do you think we'll see another Guardian released with that much CC in his kit? So what do you think?
Absolutely. For sure. Yes. I think Sylvanas was an experiment that was a rounding success for Hi-Rez.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people think Sylvanas is actually fun. And that is something that we haven't seen in a while for Guardians. So they probably will continue to go down that path.
Yeah, I have a ball with Sylvanas, to be honest with you. Like, I love playing Guardian. Sylvanas to me is kind of this weird mix with like Geb mixed with like an Aphrodite or something weird like that. Like where, you kind of have like, the heals available, but at the same time, sustains there, but you can do a little damage. So it's weird, but like I have a really good time playing Sylvanas. I played Sylvanas in Conquest, 3 vs 3, and Arena. and had a ball in all 3 of them. His kit. The only thing that I still am struggling with a little bit on Sylvanas with his kit is his 3rd ability. The pullback is
Yeah,
the
the
pullback is
short.
it's the short isn't my biggest problem. It's the indicator. I feel like gets lost in the map. It's not something that stands out very well. Where like the rest of your if you like take a look at the indicator, you know the spellcasted indicator when you play Sylvanas next, I feel like it blends in too much, and so it makes it deceiving as to how far it actually can reach. And the second thing on that ability is how slow that grab is.
Slow.
We're
Thank
so
you.
used to like an arachne grab or something like that.
Yeah.
Like so what I've found myself doing is using the first ability, rooting them, and then popping the 3 to pull them back towards me if I need to.
Which
Or
kind of sucks.
what's a lot of fun is when you're into a big engagement, popping your ultimate so they get knocked up. Okay. Once they come back down, throw them in your root. So you've rooted them. Now they're stuck even more. Pop your 2 as they go to walk away. Pop your 3, pull them back to you. So then you can start rotations again. It works out well. But I'd like to see more gods like Sylvanas. But at the same time, I'm also a huge advocate for not having gods that can play Guardian also do a ton of do a decent amount of damage. You know, before the nerf on Sylvanas, he was not only healing pretty good, he was also being able to be played as a magic damage dealer pretty well. So I like where he's at right now. I think the changes were needed, and there weren't anything crazy. Like this wasn't like, oh, he came out with this crazy Guardian and now we have to do a huge overhaul because he's too good. Like I'm really happy with what Hi-Rez did with Sylvanas. It was a good introduction, a god to introduce, and a good adjustment there. So let's see here. So I just went ahead and unmuted you. Any other questions or thoughts or comments?
Not really. Just thanks for having me on the show again.
No problem. Have a good day. So if you guys do want to go ahead and call in, once again, call in via raid call using the group ID 7461039. Simple and easy. As you saw that first caller, go ahead and call in, and we'll bring you on. So let's go ahead. We'll take one of our emails here. Oh, you know what? No, let's move on to our next topic, and then we'll go through emails. So what is our next topic while we wait for some more viewers to call in?
So not really Smite related. But esports related. So let's talk about what happened last night or this morning, actually.
What happened? What happened? I don't understand.
The League of Legends Worlds, man. It was insane. Did you actually watch the Twitch broadcast?
I watched some
of the Twitch. Any of it?
I watched some of the Twitch broadcast, not as much as I really wanted to. I did read a lot prior to the event, kind of like a lot of the hype leading to the event. Saw a decent amount of pictures as well. And, really, really enjoyed it. From what I saw, damn, that's all I gotta say.
It was insane. So just a few numbers. 40,000 people were in attendance live watching people play League of Legends. Think about that for a second. 40,000 people.
The pictures were insane. And I guarantee cannot do justice to being on the stage and playing and having 40,000 people chanting your team name. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was crazy. At its peak, there was 800,000 people watching on Twitch alone. And then Korea, there were millions. I didn't get an actual number of the people watching live in Korea, but millions of people watching in Korea. So when you want to talk about numbers, those numbers eclipse every single sport except for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't realize that those concurrent viewership numbers eclipse every single sport, NBA, NHL, MLB, everything except for the World Cup. Esports they have an event that is larger than every single one of their major events. It's crazy.
Yeah, before let me put it out there first real quick before like people are like, what is this League of Legends talk, blah blah blah. You have to remember that within the gaming industry, especially within esports, you are always constantly looking to not only competitor but other games in your genre to learn from. And if you look at League of Legends and Dota, we as a Smite community can learn so much from them. We are creating our own path. We're clearing through that forest on our own, changing, making things quite different and unique, but there's so much we can learn. And that's why we're going to talk about it a little bit. So please continue. I just want to make sure I stop things before they start.
Good point. And I mean, that's a really good idea. I mean, let them make all the mistakes and innovations, and then we just, take all the good stuff. It's good for us.
Yep.
What was the final point I was going to say since you jumped in?
We were talking about numbers in Korea. The numbers that how many numbers we saw in Korea, and how you were talking about how
Oh,
this
about all
was
the other
larger
sports.
than any traditional or other broadcast out there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's still in the U. I mean, in Korea, it's already a done deal. Like, it's been a done deal. People
Done
know
deal.
esports is the thing in
Yep.
Korea.
Yep.
In the United States and EU, we still have a long way to go, and I'm still a little disappointed when I looked up news articles post tournament. There were people. Some of the articles were like, a bunch of kids won $1 million playing video
Oh,
games.
I
Like, it's
know,
so
right?
condescending. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like, come on, man. I mean, I think the ages were in between 17 and like 19. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just such a condescending tone here in the US about, oh, they're just playing video games. Meanwhile, they show these huge pictures of all these people in attendance and all these numbers, but they still are talking down on it. You know what I mean? It's really, really strange. I don't know when that's going to change. Even our own fellow gamers are like attacking us from the inside, right? We already have enough of a battle to fight with people that don't really understand games and understand why we watch other people play video games. But you have people that are actual gamers that are like, oh, this is dumb. That's not a real sport. Get that out of here. This is like, it's like, it's like battles from both sides. You know what I mean? So hopefully things like this start to kind of pave the way little by little by little. I still think we're years out. There was an article that I read last year that speculated that in 2016 there would be an esports event in the Olympics. Maybe not 2016, maybe 2020 is what I would anticipate based off of just the way the articles sound and just the way the news reports that I've been hearing on the U.S. side. They're not really on board just yet, and I'm really hoping that changes here in the next few years.
We definitely have some ground to make up, without a doubt. And you kind of made some good points there, talking about esports in general and just kind of some of the way that esports is painted in traditional media. We're starting to get there where we see like a lot of big news organizations were publishing a lot about Twitch being purchased by Amazon and stuff like that, and for the $1 billion and stuff. And those are steps in the right direction, because you then have traditional readers reading reading those publications that would come across that and go, okay, that's something different. That's interesting. And first off, why is Amazon interested? Oh, and then they read the article and they go, okay, now I know why. And look at these numbers. And those types of things are great for when you're looking for sponsors to come into the esports scene. When they read articles like that, where Amazon purchases Twitch, and that's when like big sponsors start to look at it a little bit more. I mean, I know they're already looking at it, but look at it a little bit more closely and say, okay, like we have something real here. Well, this weekend was another key example. The numbers that were produced this weekend for the viewership and for sponsors and for making it legitimacy of this esport, come to light a little bit more. And so I think we're far off, just as you had said there, before we bridge that gap. I'm kind of jealous of other countries that have already been there, and now esports is larger than traditional sports, and players over there, League of Legends, Dota, StarCraft 2, like live like gods. I mean, they make fortunes. They make six-figure plus a year with prize pools on top of that. Team house atmospheres, all that fun stuff. And they live the life that we look at over here in the States as like NFL players. They live that over there. Maybe not being salary paid of $80 million, something absurd that we pay traditional sports players over here to go run around a field and kick a ball, but still.
Whoa, now. I was on your side until you said that.
No, you're not going to. You're really not going to. You're really not going to.
I'm not going to start that sport debate with you, but just know that you're wrong, Octane.
Nope. Anyways. But yeah, so what else we want to talk about here with League of Legends? I mean, you watched it. Okay, let's talk about here a little bit of the production of the League of Legends. What were some things that you noticed about the production of the Worlds that caught your eye? That you were like, wow, this is cool. I'd love to see this someday in Smite.
Well, funny enough, looking at the production, because I haven't watched the League of Legends tournament in a while. Funny enough, I saw a lot of spectator things that Smite integrated recently. I was like,
you saw that too? You saw that too? I was looking at it today, and I was like, the teams along the left and right in the middle? Yeah. Yep. Okay.
And then they had like little breakdowns of like the golds and the kills and the wards. I mean, they had That's good. And this goes back to our point before. Why reinvent the wheel if someone's already driving a car down the street? You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay. So that's what you're supposed to do. Let me
Yeah.
just bring that into Smite. It just makes it better for everybody. Other than that, I mean, kind of before I kind of talk about that, going back to your point before, people are starting to realize it. I mean, the name of the team that won was Samsung Galaxy White. What?
Yep. Yeah.
That's the name of a phone.
I
this is
know.
not a Samsung
Oh,
Galaxy,
really?
but
Yeah. Here's the
It's
thing.
just flat out a name of a phone.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, well, yeah, and there's a lot of teams out there that are getting sponsored and have these title sponsors. Where like, I remember Evil Genius for the longest time had the Raid Call title sponsor as well.
That's crazy.
Where, and dude, that's what you want. Like seriously, like millions of people watching, and how many times is Samsung said within an hour because it's part of a team name? Like, holy cow!
That's actually a very good point. So, Potato Boys, I'm sorry, your name can no longer be Potato Boys. It's going to be
Gold Rush Potatoes.
There you go. Perfect. Exactly. Idaho Potatoes is Deicide. Bam. Sorry, that's what it has to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's all I had to really talk about for the League of Legends thing. It's very good stuff, man. It gives me a lot of hope for Smite in the future because our numbers continue to grow. League of Legends continues to grow. It's almost 6 years old, and the numbers continue to go up. Like a lot of people were thinking that it's time for it to teeter off, or no. Their numbers continue to go up. They continue to break records. It's going to be a long. I can't imagine them falling off until like maybe the 9-year mark, maybe. And then at that point, it's League of Legends 2 time, like same way they did Dota 2.
So you heard it. You heard it first in chat. Instead of Potato Boys, it's going to be Apple Boys, sponsored by Apple.
Boys.
That's
Exactly.
so bad. Looking at some of the things that I saw that I really liked, that kind of caught my eye, and I'm hoping that we do this. And I actually saw a comment on Reddit about it. Was having the game. One of the games that they're doing streamed, multiple streams, multiple languages. I think that is going to be key for World.
Oh wow.
And
yeah.
Part of me would rather see, I know like with Tencent, like we send a lot of the content, like Hi-Rez sends content over there and then they like restream it, like recast it with their own casters and stuff.
Yeah.
I would rather see at the Cobb Energy Center 4 different sets of casters, where they bring in their Chinese casters and they cast the exact same thing that we're watching live as a Korean stream with over on their platform. If that's, I think it's like QQ.com or something like that, or whatever Tencent has. Like, I love to see that. I'd love to see a Spanish, set of commentators brought in and that is available as well. I want to see 4 streams or 3 streams with multiple different languages represented, all going simultaneously at once. And I know we're talking about a lot here from Hi-Rez, but at the same time, we're talking about Smite Worlds. Like, we're not talking about a regional event. We're not talking about launch tournament anymore. Like, this is our big deal. Like, this is, we have a lot to prove to the world regarding Smite, and this is our time to shine. So, logistics wise, it might not be possible, but if, as you said, making a wish list.
Gotta prepare for it.
I mean, yeah.
Wish list too.
If we're making a wish list, this would be something I would love to see. I'd love to see that option available. We're not a platform like Dota 2 with Valve where people can jump in and have the option to listen to different casters and watch the game live inside of the client, the way that Dota 2 was built. So we have to make up for that in other ways. This is the way to do it. I mean, let's have Smite game 1, 2, 3, and 4 and just have, all the games being casted on them. Something else I liked from Worlds that I thought would be really great from League of Legends that Worlds that I thought would be good for Smite Worlds was the player cameras. And other games do this too.
Awesome. Yeah.
I really liked where like, let's say for example, in solo lane, Sayo is going against Xayah. Well, all of a sudden at the bottom, there's like Sayo's camera. And then there's Zalia's camera. And it's literally like on top of their individual monitors, and they have you get to see their facial expressions. You get to see them like focusing. And then they even had in those little screen regions, the entire team broken up at certain points. So you saw all 5 members on each team in each of those windows. Like, I love to see that, like during a team fight or after a team fight, or a fire giant gets stolen, stuff like that. Like, that's the stuff I want to see. I want to see us, quickly break to a camera where a fire giant gets stolen, and I want to see where all of a sudden
Watch the faces.
I want to see Lassus's face when he steals the fire giant, and that should be a full screen view during the production aspect.
Right.
Just real quick, if it's up for 3 seconds, just to see that type of stuff, like that would be awesome. So
it changes the entire mood. That's
it does.
crazy. Like
it
just
does.
imagine if that camera shot to Game Hunter's face when he had that pentakill, right?
Yeah, like are you
This
kidding
would've been
me?
insane.
You kidding me? I mean, the guy's probably standing up, not even in his chair, playing at that moment. Like that's the type of stuff I want to see. I feel like when we're watching it through the spectator view, we kind of lose this disconnect with the emotions of the player while they're playing. Yes, we get it from the casters, with the casters trying to hype it up, but let's get webcams. I mean, you're talking maybe $80 webcams each. So you got a few of those there. Get 10 of them or whatever you're going to have and have them on them. Like that's the type of stuff I want to see. I want to see that type of stuff. I think it'd be so cool.
Man, you're spoken like a true F dot right there.
Oh,
you want to see the people
no.
behind the people.
Don't tell him.
That's straight F dot right there.
Don't tell him. Don't tell him. I swear. I don't even think he should chat right now.
He's busy drinking somewhere.
That's right. He's drinking somewhere.
Orange juice.
That's orange juice. That's right. It's bubbled. It's carbonated. So yeah. Any last comments that you'd like to make about the production? Oh, how about like the analyst desk? Did you see some of the cool analyst desks that they had, where they had the analyst desk in front of the audience, and I think they had like 5 or 6 different people. On the
they had
analyst
about
desk.
5 people on there. Well, I don't really have too much to say about that. We had that at the last Worlds, right? We had like the commentator desk, and then we had the analyst desk afterwards. So
I felt like though when we watched the analyst desk at the launch tournament, all the analysts were talking directly towards the camera, compared to at the League of Legends Worlds, it was a V shape almost desk. So they were talking they were talking across from each other. So they were having a conversation versus just like each guy bringing up a point. With an analyst desk. So I think that would be cool. The fluency. So just little stuff that I noticed. I was like, cool, this would be kind of cool. Let's roll with it. So, so anything else? Anything else you can think of?
No, man, that was good.
Okay.
That was good stuff.
Okay, let me go ahead and send a message to a few people here. 1 second. See if they're ready to come on the show here. I was getting too into it. See how much I was getting into that? See what happened? Stuff's crazy.
Yeah, man, it's aspirational type things. It's really, really cool to talk about. To think that maybe 2 or 3 years from now we'll be a third of that. Well,
I don't even like League of Legends, but I feel like we can learn so much from. We can learn so much from that.
I don't hate League of Legends, but I don't want to buy all my champions anymore. Like I'm done with that model. Like I want all the gods, like Dota 2, or I want like Smite, where I buy God Pack. I don't want another week to come out and Sylvanas is out. Like here's $10.
Yep.
Oh, here's Yanis. Here's $10. Here's Rom. Here's $10. No, thank you.
Yeah. Those of you guys interested? You guys can join this entire conversation. Talk about anything. League of Legends Worlds. We'd love to get your input on some of that stuff. Talk about Smite. Download Raidcall, raidcall.com. Go ahead and put in the number. Once you go to Raidcall, you download the program, guys. You create an account just like you would have Ventrilo or Mumble, and then the group ID is like your chat room type of deal. So it's right listed directly below me. And join in, and I'll shoot you a message to get you hooked up. Those of you guys that just joined in here, I shot you guys messages. So get back to me. Want to make sure you guys are all set up. So let's go ahead and jump over to some of our emails while we wait for some callers to jump in here. And if you guys would like to email us, feel free to at any time. You can email, after you watch the VOD, you can email us right in the middle of a show, and we'll get to your question. If not today, we'll get to it next show, which should be pretty cool. So question here is, the title is possibility of a new or updated Conquest map. And this question comes from Orban, and he says, there was recently a question asked on Twitter, and it was confirmed by, I think, Stu, that they are updating it. Also, there are going to be new maps. What are your thoughts? So what do you think?
Updating the artwork.
Yeah.
So they're not going to actually change Conquest in any way that we know today. As far as like the leak is concerned, strictly based off of what Hi-Rez said, it's only going to be artwork update, which I'm looking forward to because I think the Conquest map is kind of dull. None of it really, like when you're on the order side, it's just like, I don't know, it just kind of looks washed out to me. It doesn't look bad, right? Let me preface that. It doesn't look bad. It's just not really, it's not vibrant or bright, or I don't know. I really think it's kind of dull. So hopefully they bring that up just a little bit. But as far as like changing like where mid camps are and maybe taking the fire giant and putting him back in the cave, I don't think we're gonna see that based off of what Hi-Rez has said so far.
Yeah, it's when I look at it, sorry, I got this really cool picture. I'm gonna post it in chat because I think it's awesome. It's a Twitter
What?
post. It's a Twitter post. It's a Twitter post, and it was just talking about League of Legends and the growth. And I think this is something exciting for us
Oh yeah,
as the
yeah. That
Smite
picture's
scene.
fantastic.
It shows season 1, season 2, season 3, and season 4. And if you guys are trying to figure out, like, we're in season 1 right now of Smite, and we're gonna be at the size. Probably it looks like around season 2, maybe. I don't know that we'll have. If you look at that, I posted it in chat once again, guys.
That looks almost slightly bigger than the Cop Center, right?
Yeah, it looks a little bit bigger,
Slightly
and
better.
so like that's crazy. Like, oh my word, that's so crazy to think that there is a chance if we keep doing what we're doing and Hi-Rez keeps doing what they're doing, that we could go in like 3 years to be the size of what season 4 is listed there. Like, can you imagine? Oh my word. Hi-Rez must just go crazy with conversations like this, like just
Oh
possibilities.
yeah, pie in the sky. Well, it's not even a pie in the sky. It's just a matter of just staying the course, right? Because Dota 2 and League of Legends are established, and I know we're kind of going back to this topic again, but Dota 2 and League of Legends are completely established.
Yep.
They're top down. They're MOBAs. They have a stranglehold on that market, but there are no other games like Smite that are MOBAs, right? I mean, there are, but they're not as mature as Smite is. Smite has 58 gods in the game, right? We have all this artwork, we have all these refinements that have been done over the last years. We are an established game. So anybody that doesn't like League of Legends, they don't like Dota 2, they're coming to Smite. I guarantee it's part of their transition of, I want to find a MOBA to play, they're going to look at Smite. And Smite, in my opinion, if you go to YouTube, if you go to Twitch, Smite is the most visually appealing game out of all those three. And I know that's kind of biased, but when you look at Tier jumping in on someone and fearlessing someone versus Soraka doing her Starfall, come on. There's no way anyone can think that Smite doesn't look better than that. So just a matter of time.
I agree. All right, let's go ahead and bring in our next caller. Welcome to SmiteTalk. How's it going? Hello.
Hello.
Hey. So what do we want to talk about today?
I want to talk about like the solo lane and the assassins.
Okay.
I like it so far. Go on.
What do you got?
I was just doing some league matches and I was doing some of Naja, but I failed at it. And the other jungler was actually just running around and taking up all my buffs, and I was very confused. And like, how do you like completely stop that? Like from them taking all your buffs and your experience.
So you were in solo. You weren't jungling, right?
I was jungling.
Okay,
okay,
so you were
you're-
jungling. So
Okay,
your question is,
counter-jungled.
so you're getting okay. So what do you got? So how do you stop the other team from counter jungling you? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Good question there. Okay, FG, what do you got? What are your thoughts first off? So
This is
as
the
a jungler, how do
Arachne
you stop?
effect.
Okay.
This is the Arachne effect. Back in the, I'm talking even Arachne now, but post or pre Arachne, when she used to be able to lay multiple eggs, that Arachne was a pub stomper because she was so good at going into the opponent's jungle, laying an egg, and just killing you. Like, she was the counter jungle queen, and people were always like, "How do you beat Arachne? She's so good. She's in my jungle. She's killing me. There's nothing I can do."
Yeah.
And when it comes to someone that is really good at counter jungling, I'm talking about someone that knows when your camps are going to be up. He knows exactly where you're going to be. He's like, "I know you're going to be at your speed buff. I'm going to be right there with Thanatos to silence you and kill you." The only thing that you can do is have a team. I know this is going to sound crazy. Your team has to be invested in making sure their jungler stays ahead. You have to have a team effort. You have to be able to say, "Hey guys, their Thor is in my speed camp. I need mid to rotate down. I need the support to rotate in when they're in my jungle." Like, you need to have a team effort, because if you're not a jungler, like Najah, for example, he's a pretty good one-on-one, but if you're going against like a Thanatos, for example, he's going to kill you one-on-one, especially if you've already started your buff camps. So if you can't 1v1 them, you have to call for reinforcements. So you have to get buy-in from your team. You have to have wards. Don't be afraid to put wards on your side of the map. That's a big. When I play jungle, I always grab one ward, just one. You know, I know
Every
it's
time you
crazy.
go
It's 50
back.
gold.
Every time
I go back, I grab a ward and I put it somewhere on my side, just in case I'm getting counter jungled. So you have to have wards on your side of the map. You have to have buy-in from your support. Your support can easily leave his long lane early and then rotate under those camps and up to the mid camps. He doesn't have to go straight across from the gold field to the mid camps. There's so many things that you can do, but you kind of have to open your mouth and be like, guys, I'm your jungler. If I'm level 5 and the enemy jungler's level 10, there's going to be a problem. I need your help. I need everyone to pay attention to more than just your lane. But you can't do it by yourself. I don't know if there's a way you can do it by yourself. Maybe chat will tell me, but I don't think there is a way.
I mean, I think the big thing there and that we need to emphasize on is wards. I feel like if your team can properly ward, then you can go ahead and stop that counter jungling, because with warding, you can then go ahead and determine the route that that person is taking on the jungle, and you can work with someone else to double team them in that scenario. So, for example, you find them going ahead and they're coming to counter jungle your red. Well, you can call out to your middle to go ahead and meet you at red, and then you have the jungler, you as the jungler, and you also have middle lane collapsing onto that jungler at red. And that's how you do it. And once you get a kill off, then you're getting ahead. You know, you get that kill off there, or, you know, you stop them from getting that. You stop them from getting that red, you go ahead and get the red, or you kill them. There's so much more XP. There's so much time that they've lost during that. So I think in reality,
because they're not getting their own jungle when they're in your jungle.
Yep. So it really, to me, it really comes down to warding properly and communicating with your team to collapse on the jungler when they're doing that stuff. So that's my recommendation. Any other questions for us tonight?
This is more like a fun fact, or like a really cool thing.
We'll take it.
It's about ADC.
Okay.
Anubis ADC. I was actually doing Anubis ADC, and their ADC just got completely wrecked. Their support, whenever he tried to gank me in the jungler, automatically got destroyed. So I was wondering.
Don't tell people this, because they might actually try it and fail miserably.
Anubis is good at just destroying people. He really is. There's no one has ever said Anubis can't wreck a team. You know, you routinely see Anubis go like 16-4 in these games, and people are like, "Oh wow, 16-4, I'm Anubis. I need to go to a tournament. I need to go, you know, tell Zapman what's up." But unfortunately, once you get to the mid and late game, Anubis has problems. No one's ever doubted Anubis's laning ability. I don't care what lane you throw him in. He's going to be fantastic in any lane.
Somebody in chat goes, "This guy watches too much EU meta."
EU, Zeus ADC, bring him back.
Yo, NA's too afraid to try these crazy things. That's all.
Yeah, they should try new things. Like, this is Smite. You're supposed to try new things. I mean, come on.
That's right. Well, man, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. You have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, good deal. Let's go ahead and bring in another caller. Smite is fun. Welcome to Smite Talk. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Good. So what do you want to talk about today?
So one of the topics I kind of wanted to talk about was like the one-hit kind of gods like Loki.
Okay, what are your thoughts on Loki?
Alright, so what I was kind of wondering is, what are your guys' kind of thoughts? Like, do you think they should get a nerf or have a rework?
Okay.
Or should they even exist in Smite, that type of thing?
Okay.
Yeah.
So FG, I'll throw it to you first, man. What do you think? Here's your time to complain about Loki.
I mean, I don't really complain about Loki too much. He doesn't really bother me. I know, you know, if you ask, this is the great thing about Smite sidebar. If you ask 1,000 players who they think is the most overpowered god in the game, you're going to get 94 answers. You know what I mean? Well, 58 answers, sorry. People will have all kinds of different, you know, thoughts on who's overpowered. And when it comes to Loki, one-shot killing you, he can't really one-shot kill you unless he's far ahead.
He can two-shot kill you, though.
Then he can kind of two-shot kill you, but he's so easy to shut down afterwards. I like the fact that there are gods in the game that are super squishy, that rely on hit and run tactics like that. Serket's another one. She's in an extended engagement. She's dead. She has to dump her entire kit or she's dead. Loki's kind of the same way. He has to stealth on you. He has to prep aim strike, and then he has to jump on you. Decoy's not going to do anything. So he burns out his entire kit to do anything on one person, just one person. I think he's required. I mean, how else are you going to get if you're going against another enemy team? There's a hub wall on the other side, and he's playing really, really safe. He's in the back. What are you going to do? You need characters like that that are able to get in, pop you, and get out. So I think he's necessary in the meta. I don't think, and I say this kind of often, I don't think if Loki was a brand new god today, he would be the same as he is now. Like he would be totally different because the idea of Smite in the meta is so different now than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
I think back then they just wanted someone that was a stealth backstab rogue type of character, and they threw him in the
for jungle too. And now we're seeing him played more solo. So
yeah, for sure. But I'm okay with one shot, one or two, 3-shot type of gods. I don't really have an issue with it. What do you think?
I agree with you as well. I think you covered some really good points there regarding just gods in general that are out there that can one or two hit you so easily. I mean, I understand it's frustrating. I think they have a place though in the game. We've seen them more traditionally be in the assassin role, and then more recently some shifting of that into solo, where like a Mercury in solo or a Loki in solo, where Mercury's kind of moved out of that since the last nerf adjustment made to him. But I'm okay with it. It is frustrating to play against. I'm not going to disagree with that at all. I mean, playing an on her and then getting jumped on by a Loki, does require a beads and a leap to get out of that, and even sometimes a sprint, in order to get the proper distance, so that Loki does not catch you. So it can be frustrating, but I feel like it can be managed. So just my thoughts. Any comments on that? Smite is fun.
No, not really. I think you guys kind of made the point out because it's kind of like you do need it for some of those guys that can kind of hide out.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's not fun to play against them, to play as them. It's a ball and so a great amount of fun, but they have their place. They have their place without a doubt. Well, any other questions for us today?
Is that kind of the same thing with like Tyr, how he jumps in with his 1-2 because he can pull you out of almost any tower and get you with his 1-2.
Yep, exactly. Your tower divers. I mean, Tyr is definitely one of them where I see them as a tower diver. I mean there's a lot of tower diving gods that are out there. I mean, one more recent one that points out to me is like Bakasura right now. Like his leap in, quick chainsaw damage, eat a minion, jump out, and you're like,
beautiful.
What? You're like, what just happened? Are you serious? Like even as a guardian, you get melted with that. So yep, I think those god types, they all have their place, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yep. Smite is fun. Thanks for calling in, man.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, let's go ahead and take some emails here. Catch up on some emails the best we can here with our limited time left. Let's see. His email is from Floris. Says, hi, Octane and FG. Once again, if you guys want to email in, SmiteTalk@gmail.com. I would love to know what you guys think of Sylvanas' passive. I understand why it is like this. It's made to be more of a body block for your teammates and reward you for successfully doing so. But I believe that there is a design issue with it. My reason for thinking that is it prevents gods that are auto-attack based to be able to fight him, which is strange because you are being punished for trying to kill your opponent. And I get that some gods get a bit of a bonus for when they're taking damage, such as Guan Yu. But the passive of Sylvanas makes it actually impossible to fight him for some gods. What do you think of his passive? Is it an okay passive, or should it be changed? Great show. Keep it up. This is from Floris. So, FG, what do you got there?
That's an interesting question. I don't. Man, you're the guardian. You go first on this one. I've gone first on all the other questions. You go first on this one.
Why can't I just be like, FG? This is all you. Why don't you be the one under the knife type of deal? Okay.
Because I have a thing called integrity. I'm not going to make up anything.
Okay.
I'm not just going to make up something.
Okay, so for people interested in his passive, it's called Nature's Protection, and I'm bringing this up so that I can read it word by word. I don't know the exact wording off the top of my head. Enemies that successfully land a basic attack, hence the email from the user here talking about that, on Sylvanas have a 25% chance to be rooted for 1 second. So, example, you go ahead and you attack Sylvanas with your basic attack. There is a 25% chance that one of those basic attacks will go ahead and trigger a root for 1 second. This may only happen once every 12 seconds. So it's limited to that 12-second period. So first off, body blocking and the success of it. This works out really well. You're trying to body block a hunter from killing off your hunter. Taking the basic attacks could a chance trigger this 1 second route. Do I feel that it's too strong? No, I don't, because it's only a 1 second route. I mean, 1 second is literally like, that's it. That's all that was. That little tiny pause there, that's all that was. Like, 1 second is such a short amount of time, just enough for a teammate to take a few extra steps back and get away, but just enough. So, honestly, I'm okay with his passive. I actually really like it. I like how it fits his kit. Putting him in harm's way in order to successfully benefit the team with that additional little tiny route. I also, if it didn't have the fact in there where it said this only happened every 12 seconds, I might have a problem with it.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, but I think 12 seconds is a good amount of time, and I think the 1 second route is appropriate. What do you think about it?
Totally agree. I've never been in the position where I thought it was just too much. You know what I mean? It's what he's supposed to do. He's a guardian. Him body blocking you, it forces you to do a skill that not everyone knows to do. You know what I mean? There are a lot of people that play Guardian that have never heard of body blocking, which is such an integral thing to do, and it kind of forces that skill into people. So I'm okay with Sylvanas' passive. I'm actually okay with Sylvanas as a whole right now. I think he's in a really good spot. So I've seen less and less of him since post patch, and I think he's in a good spot. 18 seconds on his cooldown kind of hurts.
Yeah,
but hey, I'm happy about it.
I've actually been playing more and more of him actually since the patch, so I can't complain. Have a good time.
The real people after the first. This happens on every single god. The god comes out. There's a nerf patch, and then the real people that really like the god are the only people that play him from that point on. Like the whole Insta-lock Sylvanas thing is completely dead. You can play him as much as you want. The real people hold on after the wave ends.
Yep. So let's go ahead and we'll take another email. Once again, if you guys want to email us today, tomorrow, a month from now, feel free to SmiteTalk@gmail.com. This one comes to us from Matthew. Matthew says, how do you feel about the Thanatos skins that are being voted upon? So this already finished. This was a little bit older of an email. Do you like any of them and have a certain one? So we already went through this. I really enjoy the angelic one.
Dude.
Because we don't have an angelic skin. And it would be sort of a twist. Blah, blah. So yes. Let's talk about that. So those of you guys not familiar, there was a Thanatos community vote that occurred. A lot of really great skins that were produced. The one that won, unfortunately, was the angelic skin.
Oh my god.
So we'll be getting that, which will be the last. I think it's the last item in the Odyssey. We have quite a few weeks left here with that. And just think, man, the Odyssey's going to end, and I get to see you. We're going to be in Atlanta. It's going to be exciting. Nice. Yeah, buddy.
Drinking milk, playing with our Thanatos skins.
Oh,
it would be awesome. I like angelic Thanatos. It's a good idea. I can't wait to see his wings become more majestic and his sword get, or whatever. I don't really know what's going to be, but I'm looking forward to it. And I always say this every time I bring up this skin up. This is going to be the most expensive skin in Smite. Just throwing that out there. The most expensive skin in Smite.
Nope. It's going to be. It's going to be free. Just watch. It's going to be free.
Oh, it will be free. In theory.
That's right. So
get diamond just like I'm doing.
Yeah,
get
right.
Just
there you go.
Me, so we can all be cool together. Be like, dude, I've been playing Thanatos forever.
That's right.
What?
So I was just thinking about it. When are you heading down to Smite Worlds, SWC?
I don't know. Probably
are you going
the day before? And
so you're gonna go down Thursday then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Day before and then leave a day after. I like that.
Unless I end up doing something again with Hi-Rez, like working with them, I'll probably drive down Thursday. It's about a 10-hour drive for me, so we'll leave in the morning.
No way.
Yeah, we'll probably leave like 3:30, 4 in the morning. Drive down. It's me and two other guys, so it's not bad. It's not bad at all. 3.5 hours, whatever each, give or take, and drive it out and get down there late in the day. Enough time to go get some dinner, drink a beer, have some fun, and then Friday, be there. So it should be pretty cool. Okay, just wondering.
I'll be flying a plane.
You're
just
flying.
Looked at Boston to Atlanta is 13 hours.
Oh, that's
13
nothing.
hours and 50 minutes.
Drive it,
so that's
dude.
14.
Drive
way.
it. Drive
After
it.
everything is said and done, I had a great time at Worlds, and I have to look forward to a 14-hour drive back. That's the problem. The drive there is okay. The drive back is the one that annoys
You
me.
know, I flew to Atlanta when I went to the launch tournament, and I can't complain. But I also
Yeah.
drove to Florida last year, and that was like 18 hours, and I drove that straight. So yeah, it was a very long.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
All right, let's take another question here from our email. This one comes to us from Bastardo. Says lately, Hi-Rez seems to be pushing the boundaries of what's possible with gods. The latest god I'm sorry, I gotta read it word for word. The latest gods have had a lot of new and unique abilities. Giannis's portal, Cabraken's ultimate, Serket's madness, Sylvanas's everything. What are your thoughts on this, and can you think of anything new or different they can do? So, question there
Whoa,
being,
now we're designers.
yeah, that's right. Well, look, Hi-Rez has been getting a lot more creative with their ultimates, I feel like, with some of their god kits over the last, what do you think, 6 months, year maybe?
Yeah, for sure.
We've been seeing them. It was really cool when we got to see, I think it was Hi-Rez Chris was the one talking about the portal design of Giannis, and they were testing that, and you got to see some of like the pictures of like all in that like test environment. I forget what they call it. The test environment that they always show for the patch notes or whatever with the new gods or new change ups. And they showed like that portal like up in the air, and it was like, holy cow, like this is huge. And I remember that. And they're pushing the boundaries of that Unreal engine, and I like that. I mean, think of it. That's what makes this game so unique and fun. I mean, FG talked about it at the top of the show, where like graphically the game is so appealing compared to some of the top-down MOBAs that we see out there, and this is why. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else we're recently?
Sylvanas's auto attack. I mean, that's as simple as it is. It's so unique.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, like, okay, Giannis's portals, being able to teleport through aspects of the environment around you, I think is a huge deal. Out before that, I'm trying to think what else was there god ultimates. I mean, you have your Thor ultimate, which was like your first time that we got to see a god go off of the traditional playing field. Apollo's ultimate was up in the air. Trying to think. With Giannis, I'm just trying to think.
Let's see.
I'm trying to think. Now I gotta bring up a god list here and just look at the gods and be like, okay, Arachne having like the ability now to walk on top of like the ceiling of that individual lane. Yeah. I still am not an advocate of how that appears. It should connect to like trees and the atmosphere around it.
But she's making a web as she goes. She's
it's attached to nothing. Attached to nothing.
Magical.
It's just floating in the air. Like,
she's magical.
Athena being able to teleport across the map. I think that's a big one there too.
Geb's rollout was pretty cool when it first came out. Like that was just really cool. As he gains momentum and he changes, now he changes to a freaking jet, which is awesome. You never see a standard skin anymore.
I know, not at all. It'd be interesting. I'm like going through the gods, looking through here at Hades, how he kind of like dives in Sobek. I'm interested to see if Hi-Rez touches the underground aspect. We've gone above ground now, up in the air. Do they touch underground is what I'm interested in seeing. That would be kind of cool. Just a thought as I'm going through this here.
Sun Wukong's transformation, having like 3 abilities on one skill.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done so much with these characters. They've really thought outside of the box on a lot of these.
Chat loves your comment. The web of the universe.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I'm really thrilled with them. I'm looking forward to seeing how far Hi-Rez takes it, pushing the envelope in the future. How far things can go. What would really be interesting would be to see is if we as players can affect the environment around us even more than we already do. Right now we add things into the environment, like a portal, Giannis's portal, or a Ymir wall, stuff like that. But I wonder in the future if the Unreal Engine and the developers would lend to be removing things, like an ultimate or an ability somewhere that like removes like part of the jungle. Like you know what I'm talking about? Like all of a sudden it's like gone. like that.
You can just like walk instead of having to jump over the speed buff camp. You can walk through it.
Yeah, like
Like
all of a
just.
sudden, like an ability or a god that has the
Well, that's kind of
ability
like
to.
Yanis's portal, but yeah, I see what
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah, just the ability to affect the environment around us in order to affect these things. I think would be quite interesting. I mean, it may not be, and it might not be in a Hi-Rez scope, but I feel like that's looking at pushing the envelope. Being able to use an ability, and all of a sudden, the entire red camp is gone, along with the wall around it and the trees around it, and it's just open area because some god nuked the crap out of it or something, like, you know what I mean, like. I'd be
Right.
interested to see how far they could extend these types of things, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think you'll see underground first. I was kind of before Circuit came out, I was hoping she would be more scorpion-like.
Oh,
Maybe
like
she would
buried
like
underground?
burrow under the ground.
Yeah.
I was hoping something like that. So maybe there's another god out there that is similar to that would make sense for them to, burrow from the solo camp and like travel that way. It'd be kind of cool. It's really just a twist on stealth, but maybe they would burrow underground. If you walked on top of them, you got slowed, things like that. But I think underground is next. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I think they have to build it though. Looking at it, like if you like to build that atmosphere, because from my understanding was they had the sky and everything already available with Spectator client, so
Yeah.
breaching that gap was available. But like if you see like images or like video of like a bug occurring, and you actually do go underground or whatever, like you see it, there's nothing there. It's just like flat, and then like you fall through it type of deal. So I think that environment and that atmosphere has to be built. But we'll have to see how it works out. But it'd be cool. It'd be cool without a doubt. Another email here comes to us from Captain.
Oh, wait, pause. Somebody
Okay.
in chat. This is something that I've always thought about that's in Dota 2. Being
Okay.
able to either like revive the dead camps or
Ooh.
mind control them. They have those in Dota 2. It's easier to control because it's an RTS, right? You can highlight all of the minions that you want to walk with you, and then you walk, right? So I don't know how they would do it in Smite. Maybe they would just be auto-controlled minions, but being able to like go to jungle camps and take those ogres with you and go to the next camp would be like one insane jungler. And I think his name is Chen in Dota 2 that does that, where he mind controls minions, and that's the way he jungles.
That would be kind of cool. I would also like to see if mind controlling would be an aspect they can dabble into. I'd also like to see, like, I know we already have a Hades, King of the Underworld, but it'd be really cool where, like, if you killed minions and their bodies laid there for a certain amount of time, and a god that was out that could control the dead. So, like,
Oh, that'd be very
they could
cool.
raise,
Yeah.
for example, middle lane, you clear middle lane, you're trying to go gank Fire Giant, you're running past it, you almost have like a necromancer type of god. He raises the minions from the dead that were in middle lane, that their bodies are still laying there, and now all of a sudden you have like an army. That'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool to be able to have something like that. That'd be awesome to be able to do something. That'd be a lot of fun. But just an idea, That's what we're all about on this show. Just throwing out ideas, Hi-Rez applying them, and then them making the big bucks. That's how it works, guys.
Yeah, we get nothing.
Let's see here. Let's see. This question comes to us from Kyle. Says, I'm a big Sun Wukong fan. What if they put out a skin that was a Transformers theme? Like instead of his cheetah, he turned into Bumblebee. They couldn't dabble into this due to copyright law and infringements and stuff, but it would be cool if you could buy transformation packs for Sun Wukong.
Oh,
That-
you can
That
actually
would be
customize
cool.
your 3 transformations.
Yeah, like a
That'd be
pack.
cool.
Like a themed pack would be pretty sweet. Like a Halloween, like for example, you could buy a Halloween themed pack, and he would turn into, instead of a bird, he'd turn into a ghost of some kind. Like fun stuff like that. But then you could also have some more serious types. So you could have all these different animal packs and other things like that. So it'd be a cool idea.
That's actually a really cool idea when you think about not necessarily changing the entire skin of the god,
Yep.
but aspects of the god.
Yes.
That's actually really good. That kind of goes back to what you always talk about. If you could like buy
What's
some
that?
armor and put it on Odin or something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh, changing the look of that. Wow, man. How cool.
But not actually changing the entire god, just adding things on them. I like it.
Well, this
It's a
is
good idea.
this is a microtransaction fueled game, so why not? I think that would be super cool to be able to. Look at that. Somebody says you turn into a bat. There you go. Instead of the bird,
Yeah.
like the eagle, you turn into a bat. All different types of stuff. Like you could have it very Halloween themed. That would be great. But same thing like you were talking about. Like it would be very cool if eventually we get to the point where my Odin looks completely different from your Odin when we're playing against them. Regardless of the
Yeah.
skin, regardless of having like 10 skins out, it'd be very cool to be able to customize, you know, purchasing.
At least
you know,
some of the gods. A lot of the
Yeah,
gods
yeah.
can have that, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if a lot of people have played Dota 2, but that's basically Dota 2's whole microtransaction. You can
Yeah.
take a character, you can give them a helmet, you can give them armor and a sword. We don't really have that functionality in Smite. Well, we don't have it today.
Yeah.
But it would be really, really awesome to one day say, okay, I have Neith. She has a default skin, but she has a super extravagant bow that drops in the chest after a match. Hey, sorry guys, sorry. I know chests are really bad, but that's how it works in Dota 2.
That's a
after
sore
you win a
subject,
match, you
sore
get a
subject.
chest.
Yeah.
But after Dota 2, you get a chest, you get a random roll. Let's say it's a bow of Neith, and Neith is not your main. You can trade it to someone else for
Oh.
a Kali dagger or something like that. So, I mean, if the engine can support it, that would just be really, really awesome. Imagine
Oh, yeah.
changing Nemesis' sword to something or Athena's shield. I mean, and I don't know.
Okay,
I
ready?
don't do
Ready?
design.
Here you go.
Go
You
for
ready?
it, go for it.
Athena's shield, or any other gods that have a shield, that you can go ahead and put your favorite esports team on. How cool.
Whoa!
With their logo in the
Uh,
middle, that'd be awesome.
You
got the-
can do that, I guess.
Yeah, you
I don't really like it, but go
just
for it.
think about it. You could be playing Athena jungle and have the Team Dignitas logo on the outside of your shield. Like, that'd be so cool. I'd be all like, that's
It's alright. It's alright.
you know, whatever.
Sorry.
Go back to your
I don't know
YouTube
if I-
videos. Go
I
back
don't
to
know
your
if I want
YouTube
a big
videos.
potato boys on my shield when I'm playing Athena. I don't know about that.
Apple boys, apple boys. All
Looks like
right.
Chet's kind of torn on the whole thing, though. Some
That's right.
people like the idea, some people
Yep.
don't really like the idea.
Yep.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
that's right. All right, let's take another one here. Oh, that one's not gonna happen. Someone was like Iron Man, Giannis. We already kind of have that to a degree.
Yeah, he's so Iron Man-ish already. That would not be a good idea, I don't think.
This one is from Matthew, and he says, "Do you think we should get a Mayan assassin? Because I believe there should be a role for each god. I think Hi-Rez has many other gods, but Mayan needs more." So,
Hunbots is a Mayan assassin. I think the only thing they were missing right now is a Chinese hunter.
okay.
Pretty sure that's the only missing god role in a pantheon.
Okay.
Pretty sure. I'm looking at it right now.
Mm,
Yeah, Chinese hunter is the only thing that's missing.
okay. Okay.
So I guess maybe he means something that because Huntbot doesn't feel like an assassin like Najah does or Nemesis. You know what I mean? He's kind of. I understand where he's kind of saying like the same way Thor doesn't
Yeah.
feel like an assassin to me. He's just not assassin-like. So maybe, but as far as the technical aspect of it, Hunbot is Mayan and he is an assassin.
Okay. Another question here is from, let's see here, Sayo Tapis. Says, hello, it's a little bit lengthier, but pretty good. He says, hello guys, I'm from Greece. Sorry for the possible English mistakes. And I'm a huge fan of your show. I listen through iTunes. Well, thanks, man. Always good to hear from an audio listener. Here's a little plug. If you guys didn't know, the show's available on iTunes. So go check it out. Also for Android users, it's on Slacker as well. So go ahead and look it up and listen to the audio version when you're on your way to work or at the gym. He says, so I wanted to make a question. So I guess he has a question. What's your opinion about Cupid? He is my favorite ADC, and I believe that he gets paired with a Guardian. Oh, if he gets paired with a Guardian that's decent, with decent clear, like Ymir or Sylvanas, it could work. His ultimate is fantastic in team fights. Why don't people pick him more often? And then there's a PS in here, but we'll read it after. So, first off, let's start with that first. So, why don't we see Cupid being used more often?
Before I get to that question, I have to apologize. There's no Chinese guardian either. No Chinese hunter, no Chinese guardian.
Yo, chat will
was-
keep you in
I was
line,
wrong.
dude. Chat will keep you
I was
in
wrong.
line.
I said it with such authority too. That's it. It's only a Chinese hunter. Write it down.
Okay.
So Cupid. The problem with the first thing he said
Yeah.
is if you pair him with someone with a good clear. So you're pairing someone with a good clear and someone with a mediocre clear. What if you're going against someone that is an Apollo and a Sylvanas in the other lane? You're still not making any headway. You're still going to get outdone by that. But let's just, let's throw that aside and just say that, okay, clear-wise, they're okay. The issue with Cupid is this, man, his one is good. His one is very good,
Heart Bomb.
Heart Bomb is very good, and I might be wrong on this, but I think he has one of the highest base attack speeds for all the hunters. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure he's close to the top. So he has a couple of good things going for him.
Yeah.
His Spread the Love is terrible. It's a terrible, terrible ability. It's not good at all. If you're a hunter, you're not going to level it. It's always going to be the thing that you level last, which means it's going to not heal very much. It puts you in a compromising position because people know where you're going to go. So either you don't go towards the hearts, you kind of bait them with it, or you go towards the hearts and people chase you, know which way you're going to go. It's just not good. His dash is okay, but guess what? His steroid is attached to his dash. So either you dash in with it and use your steroid, or you dash away with it and you waste your steroid. Doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, it could, but all the other hunters don't have to do that. If you're Rom, you just activate your steroid. If you're Xbalanque, you activate your steroid. You don't have to get rid of your escape to use it. And his ultimate, I think we have disagreeing opinions on his ultimate being really, really good. It's okay. There's so many counters to it. Bead, sprint, the fact that he's not CC immune. If you've ever played Cupid for an extended period of time, you know the animation of shooting your ultimate, and dying, and never getting your ultimate out, ever. So I don't think he's that good at all. I just don't.
Yeah.
Sorry. And I know a lot of people throw Xbalanque down as Cupid and Xbalanque are the worst hunters in the game, but Xbalanque comes to life after the laning phase, so I really don't like him being that low.
He like melts. Cupid I really enjoy playing with as a guardian, like when as mentioned by the person emailing in here, when I play him like with Sylvanas right now, like I really like the composition. I think it comes down to like the right type of Cupid player. When I play Sylvanas, I love playing with a Cupid player that's like super aggressive. I've seen Cupid players even buy Blink to initiate off of. Because, yeah, like blink Heart Bomb into Root off of Sylvanas. Like, you know, there's some great potential there. And back in the day, you used to have your Sobek Cupid combo, toss back into the Heart Bomb with an ultimate follow up, and it's a big deal. And so I think Cupid has his place right now. It might not be as often as FG had said, with like your Roms and your Apollos, but not everybody has to be top tier.
There's one thing about Cupid that has nothing to do with his kit. I feel like his small model makes it easier to hit auto attacks. So that might be a plus. I feel like it's so much easier to hit when I'm playing Cupid.
Okay. Then this person emails in and says, P.S. FG, please, we love your voice, but if your voice, it says, but in the voice only version, we struggle to hear you. I don't know why. He loves your voice, but
that's Octane's fault. He turns me down because he's jealous. That's why.
You sound like you could be in like a 70s porn with that voice, so I want to hear it.
Whoa. This stream is rated G, Octane.
G. What have you been watching? Someone here says, emails from Tyler, says, love the show. Do you think there is a #1 top tier jungler? If so, who?
Thor. I think
I would have
said
if we went back like 2 months ago, I would have said Mercury, but now I'd say Thor. I think we can both agree on that right now.
Yeah, Thor's is so good. And I've said this before, he's an assassin, he's a warrior, and a guardian all in one. He can with his tectonic rift. I don't know all abilities names. He can like block off people. He can wedge people. That's what a support does, right? CCing people. That's what support does.
Yep.
When there's people around him, he does his, I think it's Berserker Barrage. I don't know ability names. It's 3. He turns into a warrior all of a sudden, right? Yeah. And then with his double tap, he turns into an assassin. I mean, and then he turns into an initiator with his ultimate. I mean, the guy is a full-rounded kit, and a lot of people just don't look at Thor. It's more in the casual queue than it is. Tournament level, people know about Thor.
Oh yeah.
Casual queue, you don't really see Thor too much at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially people like versus Cabraken or like Mortality, like Thor's one of those first few bans because they don't want their junglers to pick it up. So I agree. This is our last email for today, guys. This one comes to us from Michael. He says, in League of Legends, a lot of champions have skins that are just different armor sets or basic recolors. Do you think
Oh,
that
wait a minute.
Hi-Rez? Do you think Hi-Rez could start using similar skin concepts instead of these grand or goofy skin concepts, just different armor sets? I like the armor
We
set
just
option.
talked about
Yeah, yeah, I like the armor set option, kind of like what you said there. Armor set's probably a better terminology there to use. As I've said, and I will always say, I want to have my goldly, godly armor set that you see out of traditional movies when we're talking about Greek gods and they're glowing in like this godly armor compared to just like I dropped a can of gold paint over top of the god and called it a gold skin. So
that. Yeah, I smell what you're cooking. I smell what you're
yeah,
cooking.
yeah, you know where that's going. You know where
Yeah,
that's
it'd be,
going.
it'd be really cool. Or, maybe taking armor off. I know that's going to go a little too far, but what if I could take Ares' helmet off and just have
Yeah.
his locks just flowing in the wind, Sure.
That
I
would
think
be
there's
cool.
a lot of room
Yeah.
for all kinds of things when it comes to skins and gods and customization.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Well, I think that's going to go ahead and round out our show for today, Mr. FG. Any last things you can think about that you want to go over for today?
I want to go back and start leveling Thanatos. That's what I need to get my 100
boy.
gems for the day. Don't forget, guys, this is the last day for the reaping. If you haven't gotten your 100 gems by getting first wins of the day on all modes, including the match of the day, which annoys me to no end, you have to do it tonight. Have to do it tonight.
There you go.
I hated that first match of the day, by the way. On the first day, I don't know if you did it, but it was terrible.
I did not.
I hated it.
You know what? I feel like we need this thing when we log into Smite. There's like a little reminder button. You click on it, and then you hear FG's voice come on. He's like, "Hello, welcome to Smite. A reminder for today to get your gems. Have a good day."
Later.
So before we go ahead and head out, guys, I want to remind you guys that if you guys are enjoying the show and want to see this show more and more, please click directly below this graphic video here. There's a spot that says streamer feedback. Select Octane Pro and give Hi-Rez feedback on the show. It's very important they come back to us with the feedback and let us know if we're doing any good, if we're having problems, if the people aren't feeling the show or what. So please feel free. Click that streamer feedback button. Also, if you guys are interested, as I said before, this is an audio-only version. I'm sorry, let me recap that. There is an audio-only version available of this show on top of the video VOD that is available. So if you guys want to check it out, it's on iTunes. It's also on Android platform under Slacker or any other podcast app that you guys do use. So please, check it out, download it, enjoy it. We have a lot of people that do listen on the road on the way to work, when they're at the gym, when they're delivering pizzas, whatever it may be, that want to get the kind of their Smite fix in. So check it out. Special thanks to Hi-Rez Studios for allowing us to air Smite Talk on their channel, Smite Game. Please make sure you follow Smite Game, guys, on Twitch. We'll be back here every week, as we are every week, at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, give or take a little bit, depending on the show and schedules that are available. Before we go ahead and head on out of here, FG3000, where can people stay connected with you?
You can catch me on youtube.com/fitnessgamer3000, where I am bringing you the best in the solo lane, as well as all kinds of other things that are related to news and skins and spotlights. Check me out Monday through Friday.
And that's the reminder voice I'm talking about right there, people. Well, guys, for me, you can check me out on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Twitch. Octane Pro, SCII. Octane Pro, SCII. Check me out on all those platforms as well. And for myself, FG3000, this is a show. We'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.